Give us your assessment of yesterday's event. Did it meet expectations?
I think it met the expectations of Apple fans, and it also irritated the snarky people who think that Apple just copies whatever Samsung and Microsoft has done before. So it depends on what side of the chasm that you live.
Guy, I have to say, I mean, I am a big Apple fan. I'm heavily invested in the ecosystem, and I think the company has, in the past, revolutionized communications and consumer products. But that is over. I mean, the company introduces nothing new. Even features are just sort of standing on the shoulders of previous features. It's changed from a growth company to a consumer electronics company, really, that's just defending share now.
Man, what side of the bed did you wake up on today?
I mean, there's no new products, right? I mean, even this 3D touch is really just force touch. The iPad is just going to cannibalize from laptops. I mean, what's new here?
Well, it is deeper, richer features. Hopefully there are features that drive adoption or upgrades, more accurately. For example, if you're a GoPro enthusiast, now there's an Apple Watch working with the GoPro, so I think it's probably easier to control a GoPro with an Apple Watch than GoPro itself. This live photo, if Facebook supports it at Facebook and Instagram, that's a huge deal to make better posts. But, the big picture is you're right. I mean, there hasn't been a Macintosh since Macintosh. There hasn't been an iPhone since iPhone. So the question is, what's the next big curve? And that is the $350 billion question, really.
Guy, what about this? I don't know if you can call it a partnership, but yesterday when they were on stage at Apple talking about Microsoft, there were a smattering of boos. Did that catch you by surprise?
Well, I mean, listen, you're talking to someone who was, a pope in the Macintosh religion. I think it represents maybe the maturation of the industry. For the larger iPad to be successful, you have to support Office, and people are going to do it with PowerPoint and with Word and with Excel. That's the way it is. On the other hand, my perverse perspective on this is, at some point, I don't know about the right words you want to use, but at some point, Microsoft copied Apple for the Macintosh graphical user interface, and in a sense, yesterday, Apple copied Microsoft with their tablet. So, maybe the world is now back at the right level of equilibrium, tit for tat.
Let me ask you guys, because Apple is such an incredible company for business school students because it was a growth company that lost its mojo and then became a growth company again. That's something that's almost unheard of in the literature, because obviously once you're done being a growth company, all of your super cool growth guys like you split and go on to greener pastures. They've done it twice. Well, is it possible for a company to do that 3 times? Because I can't think of any examples.
Yeah, it's difficult to think of any example that's done it twice, right? Listen, I was stupid enough to leave Apple twice, so maybe you shouldn't ask. Maybe the right thing is ask me what I think and then do the opposite.
But what is next, though? I mean, first, with the Mac, and then they came back with the iPod, iPhone. What else is there? I mean, is the car the next frontier? Can they do that?
Oh, God help us if Apple makes a car. I mean, it's going to take a special connector. None of the charging stations in the world will work. And there's going to be a special adapter that costs $5,000. Or Apple will decide that it needs a special kind of electricity that's not made. God help us.
No flash.
Guy, I have to ask, because a lot of the conversation yesterday, aside from the iPhones, was about Apple TV. Does Apple really need to take over people's living rooms? Is that the next strategy going forward?
Well, in a sense, Apple wants it all, just like Amazon wants it all. I happen to be the kind of TV watcher that, I looked at the Siri demo, and it's really impressive, and, you can ask Siri to go backwards 15 seconds or whatever it is. All cool, great for the demo. But I got to tell you, I mean, maybe I'm the only person in the world, but when I decide to watch TV, the last thing I want to do is optimize my experience and interact with Siri. I just want to turn it on and watch and not think about it, not being, fiddling around, not touch sensitive, not talking to Siri. Just, just give me House of Cards, just give me Orange is the New Black, just give me 24, skip ads. I'm happy with a TiVo.
All right, I have to take the other side there because I love working with Apple TV. I used to love. I got the Xbox. I'm talking to it all the time. I'm verbally commanding it to change channels and find movies, and I think the Apple TV experience is going to be even better. What do you think about the watch, Guy? Just to finish off here, I mean, Tim Cook, I thought it was funny that he announced introductions to all new products, and he was so excited about new bands for the watch, which seems a little ridiculous. But is this a product? I mean, is this maybe the next real growth area for Apple, or a drop in the bucket?
Well, Apple never comes out and brags about how it's sold more watches in the first 90 days than in the history of mankind, right? And it didn't put up any slide that said 30 million watches sold. So if you're reading the tea leaves, you'd have to say that, maybe things aren't going as expected. Having said that, I was really skeptical about the watch. I thought the battery life was going to be too weak. I didn't think the functionality would really matter. But I bought one. Honestly, I bought the cheapest one, figuring I'd buy the next version too, and I really liked it. I liked it much more than I thought. Today, I'm wearing a Breitling Emergency because a big mistake I made.
Because
I let my daughter
awesome.
use my Apple Watch, and I can't get it back.
I mean, the Breitling Emergency is a pretty incredible product, I have to say. Very cool. Big swagger. Guy Kawasaki, thanks so much for joining us. Apple's former chief evangelist and the author of The Art of the Start 2.0.